It's the Daily Kebab! Afternoon, Muttonistas. Welcome to the Daily Kebab. And what I was hoping would be a great day of football was starting to look a little bit sterile, but that has proved not to be the case. Anyway, because I'm going out to dinner with friends tonight, I'm having to do the food segment a bit earlier, as you can tell by the fact that there is daylight behind me. So I've watched the first two games of the day and have a little chance and a little break to take something to eat at the famous Casa Alberto, a place that is absolutely brimming with traditional dishes. And in case you think, well, where am I going to watch the football, that magic Guinness sign is all you need to see, and I'll be watching Spain play in Spain. I mean, this place is as traditional as it comes. I mean, look at the fittings here. And, of course, the wonderful, yummy tapas on the bar top. So much to choose from on here. Wow, I'm in heaven. So many awfully specialities. It's incredible, this place. Don't know why I've never been here before on my many, many visits to Madrid. Now, onto the football itself. I have to say, the less said about the first game, the better. A chance and a bit at each end. Morocco having the better of it, and I suppose Croatia having the best chance, but yet again two teams that don't seem to have a cutting edge. Obviously Croatia have shown they can do it in the past, but this looks like a pale imitation of the team from 4 years ago. But then the second game, I wouldn't say what a shock, it is a shock but not a huge one because Japan are a decent team, but Germany really should have closed that game out. The Japan keeper, dreadful blunder to give the penalty away, and he kind of redeemed himself with a string of good saves, and then his teammates redeemed him out big time at the other end. But what were they doing for that second goal? I don't think the German defence want to see a replay of that one, but that's really opened this group up. I'm about to watch Spain play against Costa Rica, and I think Spain could take control of this group this afternoon, but we'll have to wait and see. But I do think that Germany's failure to get a second goal might end up causing them to be knocked out at the group stage. The food has arrived, down to the table we go. And although I was horned for choice, I went for a Madrid classic, Calles a la Madrileña, Madrid-style tripe. As you can see, somewhat different to the Asturian tripe I showed you the other day. Now, tripe is not just tripe, Muttonistas. In this dish, you can see big chunks of what they call honeycomb tripe. Honeycomb is the most tender of the three types of tripe. Also bits of chorizo and morcilla, the blood sausage, and plenty of bread, and I'm going to get through a hell of a lot of that. Thankfully there is a little TV screen so I can catch the first half of the match here before moving on to the pub. So I'm going to get on with this two-handed, quick slurp. And as a famous actor said, I'll be back. Obviously I can't show the screens, but there's a pretty tasty atmosphere in here. The bar's absolutely rammed. A few people who came here not for the football, and Spain are right on the money so far. And as we speak, a penalty to Spain to make it 3-0, and we're only half an hour into the game. This one looks done and dusted. I'll talk with you a bit more when the game's finished, and I'll enjoy my pint. Wow, that ended up 7-0 to Spain. Didn't they play well, zipping the ball around at speed, running off the defenders? And although Costa Rica were pretty poor, you know the saying, you can only beat what's in front of you. And for a change from Spain, some of the finishing was pretty decent. And if you add some decent finishing to the equation, I think Spain are one of the potential winners. Now, I only predicted 2-0. I thought it would be a comfortable win, but not that comfortable. Well done to anybody who thought they'd win by 7 today. And Costa Rica, well, they didn't allow them a shot on or off target. Amazing. Unfortunately, I don't have the time today to give you my reaction to Belgium against Canada. I have predicted a 4-0 win, so maybe that'll be a shock, but I think Belgium will have too much for them. Anyway, I'll try and mention my reaction to that game on my next Daily Kebab. So, tomorrow's games, Switzerland-Cameroon. Now, I'm not at all an expert on African football, so I'm not quite sure what you're going to get from Cameroon, but I know what you are going to get from Switzerland, a tight, solid, compact performance. I'm going to go for another 1-1 here, which in this World Cup has meant it's going to be a 0-0. I know the forward lines are never as good as the defensive lines in these tournaments, but come on, sometimes they score. Next up, South Korea against Uruguay. And I actually fancy the Koreans to nick this one. I think Uruguay's team is ageing. Jimenez and Godin at the back have been there forever. Luis Suarez is still playing. And while obviously Uruguay have the nous to score, I think the pace will be too much for the players at the back. So I'm going to go for Uruguay 1, South Korea 2. Portugal against Ghana. Now, Portugal have great players littered throughout the major leagues and a lot in the Premier League. I don't know how the mechanics of the Portugal team work, whether Ronaldo's allowed to just get on with it and do what the hell he wants, or whether the same disruptive forces that we've seen at Manchester United with himself and Bruno take effect as well in the Portuguese national team. I think Ghana are going to put up a good fight, but eventually they're going to crumble and Portugal will come out as 2-0 winners. And finally, the last team to play their first group game, Brazil against Serbia. Now, Brazil, a footballing nation oozing with talent from every pore, are often the bookmakers' favourites to win, and they are again this time. I'm not so sure about that, but they probably know more than I do. And having seen some of their players, like Richarlison in the Premier League, and the slowness of Thiago Silva, I'm beginning to suspect that this team is a bit overrated. Obviously, they're still very good, and they'll have too much for Serbia. They do usually have a little wobble in these matches, but I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to Brazil here. Anyway, I'm on my travels tomorrow, a new venue for the Daily Kebab, and I assure you I'll be able to get a new vlog out. Apologies again to supporters of Belgium and Canada that I couldn't do their game justice, but as I said, I will try and add a little bit about that game onto the next vlog. Until then, Muttonistas, that was your Daily Kebab.